that broke the pattern of wanting to fix, save, heal, put back together anyone else to feel needed, and hold people whole, capable, resourceful, and creative. There's nothing broken about them. They are whole, even when they feel broken, even when they feel like they need to be put back together, they are whole. And that shift in mindset of seeing people as like projects that needed to be fixed, and now and versus seeing them as like these whole beings that have resourcefulness and resilience and creativity and like wholeness inside of them, and like my job gets to be to hold space for that to surface and come through. It was so profoundly shifting for me. And it changed everything. It changed everything. It changed how I serve. And how all that love that was just being funneled in a really unhealthy way, how that love gets to be funneled now.
You're listening to the First Class Life Show, hosted by Lindsay Vertner, a holistic personal development show for high-achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So grab a drink, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Hey, First Class family. Welcome back to another episode of the First Class Life Show. I am your host, Lindsay Vertner, and I'm super excited. I'm so excited that I can't even get my words straight together. Okay, but you know, we don't do redos and outtakes because mess happens in life, and it's all about how you pick up and keep going. And so y'all gonna get those messed up words and all. And we're going to continue on with the show. My name is Lindsay Vertner, and I'm super excited to be here with yet another amazing guest to share gems and lessons and overcoming obstacles and all the things that helps us to be the impactful leaders that we are. And make sure that you subscribe, comment, share, like, love, do all of the things, because sharing is caring, okay? So if you hear a good gem, which I know you will, or you have an insight, you have an aha moment, share it on social media, leave a comment, be sure to tag us, okay? Because we want to celebrate in that moment with you. And you never know who's going to need that on your feed as well. Because believe it or not everybody knows about the First Class Life Show, but that's okay, because that's why we're in this together, all right? So without further ado, you know how we like to just hop right into the conversation, because I know you could be doing anything else in the world, but you are here spending your time with us. And so let's get right into it. Today, we have the beautiful Taryn Watts with us, and I'm super excited. She is tuning in all the way from Ottawa, Canada. So we got some international gems that's going to be shared with us today. But here's the thing. We might be international, but we all struggle from some of the same things, and I'm sure y'all will find that out. So, anywho, hey Taryn, how are you, girl?
Lindsay, I just gotta say, your energy is contagious. Your energy is like vibrating through my being. So thank you for being such an energized, excited host.
Well, thank you. And thank you for showing up. I mean, the little conversation we had before we hit record, like, you know, I feed off of you, we feed off of each other. It's great, girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I have gotten a chance to get to know you a little bit behind the scenes, right? But I want you to share with the First Class family, who is Taryn really? Like, give us the good tea, give us the juicy gossip. Like, who are you, girl?
Oh, what a question. Who are you? I am a very passionate woman. I've got I've like poured myself into my passions, my life's work, in my business. I've got 2 little kids at home. I've got an amazing husband who we met when we were 18 years old, and we've been together ever since. I am a woman who thrives on connection and deep I can't do like surface level conversations. That's why I'm so excited to dive in with you, Lindsay, because I love and crave deep, meaningful conversations. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm even from this planet because I can't do the surface level conversations. And so I'm so excited to have this chat with you today.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about where you come from. Who kind of molded you into who you are today?
What a great question. I come from two wonderful humans, two wonderful parents who really, my journey of getting to where I am today was windy. Mm-hmm. School was never I never excelled in school, never really found my place. It took me, twice as long to graduate from my university degree than it should have. I was kind of a windy child. I was windy. My path was windy until I found the thing that I was meant to do. And God love my parents. Trying to like nudge me back on the path but like loving me in all of my windiness and all of my uncertainty, and really modeling for me, like what that unconditional love is, so that I can like, be that in my being and also give that to my kids. Yeah.
So being that windy child, it sounds like it took some time for you to kind of figure out who you were.
Yeah, it did.
Your purpose was. Is that correct?
It took a long time for me to figure out who I was. And to figure out how I wanted to, first and foremost, who was I? And how did I want to express that in the world? How did I want to serve in the world? Like, I believe our purpose first and foremost is to discover who we are, like the true, not the false selves that we present to the world, not the guarded selves we present, not the false selves, because there's all sorts I lived most of my existence in a false self, right? Who did I think my parents wanted me to be? Who did society want me to be? Who did I think I needed to be to belong or to be successful in this world? And that guided a lot of my decisions and choices, but it was so out of alignment with like the deepest, truest version of me, like my soul. It was so out of alignment. And so allowing that part of me to, lead the way led to this windiness. It led to the winding path. And, I believe, so, Oprah's got this great quote. I'm not sure if it was Oprah who coined it, but she repeats it. And I hear her words in my head, but she says that life first speaks to us in whispers. And if we don't hear the whispers, it becomes more of a scream. And if we don't pay attention to the screaming, then, something might happen in our lives that like kind of whacks us on the head. And if we don't listen to that, then the whole like all the walls come down. And it's like life speaks to us in louder and louder and louder ways. And that was truly my lived experience, is that it's like life was like, no, stop winding, stop living from this place of out of alignment with who you really are, and find yourself. And so that was my journey.
Looking for amazing products to help boost your first class lifestyle? Then head over to firstclasslifeshop.com, where you can treat yourself to personal development books and workbooks, lifestyle affirmation cards, adult coloring books, mugs, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, leggings, and more. All products were designed to help you master your mindset, walk in your purpose, and live your first class life, because you deserve it. So treat yourself today at firstclasslifeshop.com. Again, that's firstclasslifeshop.com. Now, I want to dive deeper into that because, this show is all about helping leaders to maximize their impact, right? And create their first class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, not only for themselves, but because it's a ripple effect. When you're creating your first class life, everyone connected to you is also positively impacted. And so I often hear, sometimes when people don't have official titles of what one might call a leader, whether at work or in the community or things like that, they might not feel like they're a leader or think that they're a leader. But I'm of the firm belief, like every single person is a leader in your own respect and regard, whether that's leader at home or at your church or in your community or for your family, outside of the title or not. And so I know that it can be hard when we're living up to the expectations of other people. So how would you define, what are some of the signs that one is living for other people themselves?
What a great question. I want to answer that question in two parts because I know the signs now, but I'm not sure back then I would have known that those were signs. But what I know now is that there is so much chatter. Our minds are so busy. There is so much chatter happening inside of our minds. And our minds can convince us that that's good, that's bad. Our minds can convince us of anything we want to believe. But our bodies never lie. And when I tap into my body and where our emotions reside in the body, my body will tell me if I'm on the track. I call it like the path, our path, or if I'm on the detoured route in the bushes. Mm-hmm. And when I'm on the detoured route in the bushes, I feel, first and foremost, I feel resistant. I feel I'm carrying stress. I'm carrying overwhelm. I'm carrying anxiety. I'm carrying all sorts of things. I'm not mindful. I'm not intentional. It's like there's lots of stuff going on. And that is my first cue. That is my first sign that I'm on the detoured route. And how that shows up in my life, because I think first it shows up in our bodies and then it presents itself in our life. I'm rushing from place to place. I'm not being mindful. I'm rushed in my conversations with my loved ones. I'm perhaps even in conflict, or my boundaries have dropped, or life is just not going well. Things are just not going well. And that's like, it would say like the first, is, however many years of my life, like I just camped out on the detoured route. I was just like, I set up a tent there and that's just where I lived. Right. There was just this complete disconnect with who I really am. Now, what I know to be true is that when I'm on the path, it feels it might not be easy, but it feels like in the deepest place inside of you that knows that this is your path, that these are your next best steps, that, that you feel powerful and empowered and hopeful and joy, and maybe not all those things all at once, but you feel solid and good in your body, in your knowing. And the more we can cultivate, like an appreciation and a trust for that part of ourselves, like that part of ourselves is guiding us. Like that part of ourselves is guiding our steps forward. And the more we can orient inward, like turn inward and like quiet down the noise of all the shoulds and all the expectations and all the crap happening outside of us and the noise, because it's so freaking noisy, right? And the more we can orient inward and focus on like the deepest, most still, wise place inside of each and every one of us that knows the way and that knows something our conscious minds might not know yet, Like the more we can trust that voice, the more of a life of alignment we can live. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes me think about, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but have you ever been like out to eat with yourself or to the movies by yourself or anything like
Yes.
that? Because I think it was maybe a post on social media where somebody had posted, like they took a picture of somebody eating by themselves or something and was like, oh my gosh, I would never, or something like that. In efforts, thinking that people would be on their side, but it kind of backfired.
I'm sure that would backfire.
And then it made me think about like, no, people really do struggle with going to the movies by themselves or going out to eat by themselves or doing anything by themselves. And really it results back to that struggle with being by themselves.
Yeah.
And with their own thoughts, because they're so used to having so many voices in their head or voices around them, you know, to keep them from finding them own selves and listening to their own selves for whatever reason. Maybe it's a fear of what they will have to face whenever they are quiet with themselves, or maybe it's a fear of the unknown when they have to sit with themselves, or maybe they've just been surrounded by chaos of some sort for so long that now they're comfortable in that chaos, and being by themselves and being in a quiet space makes them uncomfortable because they're not used to that for whatever reason. And so that's what popped in my head as you were saying that essentially we have to get used to hearing our own voice and drowning out the voices of everybody else, because when it comes down to it, you wake up with you, you go to sleep with you, you were born with you, and you will die with you. Like no one else can walk in your shoes day after day. Even if somebody has been through a season with you, like they still were in their perspective and their experiences and their backgrounds and things like that. No one else will have the unique experience that you have. And so there will never be another you. And you have to figure out like, okay, what do I say?
Yeah. What do I know? What do I believe? Like beyond what everyone else believes or thinks, or what's my truth? What do I value? What's important to me? What do I want for my life? That was like my big question of, I did the university thing. That's what we do in Canada, is university or college. I did the university thing. Right out of school, I got a great job with a crown corporation, a government organization. And I stayed there for almost a decade knowing that I didn't fit here. But it was excellent on paper. We had pension and benefits and, all the things. And my parents were so happy to finally get me somewhere. We're like, oh God, she's okay now. Okay. But I didn't fit. It wasn't for me. It wasn't. And there was this like inner torment inside of this is, there's no self-expression here. I can't be who I really am here. First of all, I don't even know who the hell I really am, but I know this isn't it. Like, this isn't it. And I think that silence, being with yourself, for me, meditation and journaling and coaching. I mean, having someone hold space for me to ask questions about, what do I want and what do I believe? It's almost like the layers of an onion, right? It's not overnight. It's actually very slow. And like all good things are, like it's slow and organic and it's real and it's layer after layer after layer. And I believe that, the most authentic version of ourselves is ever evolving and ever changing. And so even though I am a woman today that knows who she is inside and out, that version of me is also changing. And so I'm always in the inquiry, what's important to me now? And that might not have been important to me last year. I think we are ever evolving, changing beings. And And if we're not changing, we're actually going backwards. We're constantly growing and evolving. And so asking ourselves, who am I? What matters? How do I want to fully express in the world? What do I want to feel? Like, these are all such important questions that we could ask ourselves daily.
Yeah, I love that. And it made me think of two questions to ask you right now. Yeah. One, what would you say are some tips or some advice to help someone start to quiet the noise and really get in tune with themselves?
Yeah, because like you said, it can be very challenging. It can be, especially if you're someone who's not used to that, and the silence and being alone with yourself feels, feels scary or feels just uneasy, what I would say is I would invite you to, just like sit in that inquiry. What makes me uneasy? For all of the people who looked at that picture on social media and said like, oh my gosh, yeah, who would go to dinner by themselves? Like, sit with yourself, sit with that question. What makes me uncomfortable about being alone with myself? And maybe like do it in baby steps. Maybe my most powerful outlet is journaling. I journal every day. And what it does is it helps me to sit with myself. It helps me to live what I call like this deeply examined life, that I think sitting with yourself, reflecting on, asking yourself powerful questions, and things might not come right away. Like, answers might not come right away, but maybe it's 5 minutes a day you're sitting with yourself, and then maybe that becomes 10 minutes a day. And then I crave time with myself. I crave it. I crave it because you remember you asked me the question, how do you know when you're off? Like, you asked me, how do you know when you're living off on the detoured route? Or you asked me something to that effect.
Yes.
One way I know I'm on the detoured route, and it happens, like sometimes during my day I get flustered or I get out of alignment. One way I know I'm on the detoured route is when I start seeking advice outside of me. So when I start asking people, what do you think I should do? Or I start Googling stuff and I'm like, what do you think I should do, Google? Like, oh, my kids are doing this. What do I do? I don't know. Like, when I am seeking wisdom and solutions and advice outside of myself, that is a red flag for me that I am on the detoured route. Because when I'm in alignment and when I'm being with myself and sitting with myself, my deepest wisdom and my deepest solutions and my deepest knowing lives in here. I am like my deepest, wisest friend. And when I'm quiet with myself, I can access that wisdom. When I am not giving myself time to do that, I can't. I don't have access to. I can't hear it. It's always there. It's that little voice inside is always there. It's, are you giving it enough airtime? Are you giving it an opportunity? Are you breathing life into it? And so these moments of silence and reflection and journaling or meditating or coaching even are you're carving out space to give that little voice inside more airtime. And the more airtime you give it, the louder and louder and louder she becomes.
Hey, I know it can be exhausting blazing the trail and creating a legacy. And you're at the point in your life where you desire peace and rest. You want to enjoy both the physical freedom and financial freedom to live life on your terms. You understand the importance of prioritizing your self-care. And you know that you're worthy of transformational experiences surrounded by other high-achieving, goal-oriented women just like you. That's why you deserve to be treated like VIP at the First Class Life Luxury Self-Care Retreat for Women. You deserve to show up and just be you. Away from the titles and roles that keep you busy from day to day. You deserve the luxury to fully unplug. It's time for you to embrace your first class life. Visit firstclassliferetreats.com to secure your VIP spot today, because you deserve it.
That makes me think of a question, because you know how they say, two heads are better than one, but then they also say too many chefs in the kitchen kills the pot, right? So how do you tell the difference between whenever you genuinely are seeking that counsel to develop your ideal or your thoughts, or, add to the wisdom, versus whenever you are just on the search pulling too many chefs? So how do you tell the difference between that needed counsel versus I'm just all over the place taking advice from anyone?
Ooh, such a rich question. Because you're right. Yes, the deepest wisdom is inside of us, but we need each other. And, we need other people's perspectives, and we need other people's offerings, and we need other people's, we need to be inspired by other people. That creates these aha moments and these moments of insight inside of us. So my personal answer to that question is, when I'm on that detoured route, I'm just going to keep playing with that analogy because it feels right. But when I'm on that detoured route, I'm desperately searching for something outside of me to fix something. And it's this energy of desperation. Tell me I'm good, or tell me it's okay. Or it's not an aligned, solid energy. And so that's a signal that I'm on the detoured route, and I'm not seeing life clearly. I can't see one foot in front of the other here. And so when I'm in a place of alignment and I'm feeling good and empowered inside, and I've kind of almost come back home to myself, and it's then that little voice of wisdom inside might say, go talk to a therapist about this, or go find a coach about that, or go look at this book. Or but it's coming from this place of solidness and of curiosity, and not desperation.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Definitely. I gotta have it. I gotta know.
I gotta fix it. I got a solution. I gotta put it back together. And that's an energy of I just feel like, nothing good comes from that energy. Right. And so coming back home to yourself. And again, the ways I do that are, just even expressing how I'm feeling, or journaling, or meditating, or going for even a walk, to just come back to kind of a reset. And then I can see clearly what's the path forward. Sometimes the path forward is to go seek guidance and counsel outside of myself, or go get a new perspective, or go seek counsel from a trusted friend who can not project all of their stuff onto me and can actually truly hear me. Right. That's what I would say.
I like that. The desperation versus the curiosity.
Yeah.
And even whenever you answered it, you could feel the different energies,
right?
And the desperation versus I think I should see a therapist about this, or I think I should see a coach or read a book.
That's right.
I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, we're talking about this need to feel different things. And I noticed that you mentioned you felt like you had to fix people and, feel needed and all of those things. Tell us a little bit about that journey, as far as, was that part of trying to live up to those expectations, feeling like the need to be needed?
Great question. You have such good questions, Lindsay. Oh my Lordy.
I do.
I love it. You're making me go so deep here, which I love. So I think that my nature, my makeup, my DNA, my being, I have so much love in my heart for humans. And part of what fills me up is being of service to others and creating impact in other people's lives and just making a difference. And when I was living from a place of complete misalignment myself, that love and that energy was being funneled into unhealthy directions. It was being funneled into codependent relationships. wanting to fix, save, heal, put back together. And yes, it was it created these unhealthy dynamics in my relationships. And, it actually, that dynamic actually led to like a pretty massive breakdown in my life where, it was actually like a line in the sand moment where all of my relationships came crumbling down in like one dramatic event. And I realized that all of this chaos is happening all around me. And there is one common denominator at the center of all of this, and that is me. Mm-hmm. And that was a catalyst for me to torch it all, burn it all to the ground, and go and figure out what the hell was happening. Who am I? If I am the common denominator in all this chaos, who am I? And that was like a personal, like a truly like breakthrough time of my life. And I went on this great healing journey of discovering if I'm not all these things, who am I? And really examining myself and being with myself and sitting with myself and feeling my emotions and healing and working with coaches and therapists and healing practitioners and doing the work that I needed to do to really discover who I was. And that discovery led me to coaching, like becoming a coach. And I remember my very first day of coach training, my instructor saying, coaching is not about advice giving. Coaching is not, that's the first thing she said. And I said, oh shoot. Like I was about to say something else there, but I was like, it was like, oh shit moment. I was like, well, I have so much advice to give. Like I've now lived through this major transformative experience. I have so much to impart on people. And I was like, if coaching is not about advice giving, then like, what are people going to pay me for then? Like, what am I doing here? And I learned that coaching is not about advice giving. Coaching is about holding just like beautiful space for another human to discover their own truth, to discover their own wisdom, to discover their own advice. And it was that shift for me, Lindsay, that broke the pattern of wanting to fix, save, heal, put back together anyone else to feel needed, and hold people whole, capable, resourceful, and creative. There's nothing broken about them. They are whole, even when they feel broken, even when they feel like they need to be put back together, they are whole. And that shift in mindset of seeing people as like projects that needed to be fixed and versus seeing them as like these whole beings that have resourcefulness and resilience and creativity and like wholeness inside of them. And like my job gets to be to hold space for that to surface and come through. It was so profoundly shifting for me. And it changed everything. It changed how I serve. And how all that love that was just being funneled in a really unhealthy way, how that love gets to be funneled now.
I like that. It changed how you served.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone listening right now and they feel like maybe they are on that detoured path where they have a desire to be needed and they aren't truly serving, what are some suggestions that you might share to help them navigate back onto a path of serving versus that need to feel needed?
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing that popped in, the first word that popped into my mind is boundaries. And really, again, sitting with yourself and asking, what's there? What, like I had to sit with myself and I had to ask, why do I need to feel needed in this way? What about, I mean, then I didn't have boundaries. I was just but why do I need that? Why do I need that to validate myself? And just like those powerful questions, sitting with yourself inside those powerful questions reveals a lot to you. And sometimes we can do that on our own through journaling. And sometimes we need professional help to sit inside that inquiry. And sometimes that can be with a coach. Sometimes it might need to be with a therapist if it goes really deep and is connected to perhaps childhood experiences. And there's no shame in asking for support and having space held for you to unpack that, because we're all so complex, aren't we? There's so much going on in every single one of us. And the question always comes back down to, who am I? And like, who am I really? And who do I want to be in the world? And how do I want to funnel that being in the world? If it's through service, like, what does that look like that also fills me up in a healthy, boundaried, plentiful way?
Yeah. Just sitting with that. Okay. So you're on this journey of self-discovery. You are implementing your boundaries. You are listening to yourself and quieting out all of the noise and the clutter that's all around, from other people, and living up to those expectations. And you mentioned like that you began to realize, like, this position looks great on paper, but I don't feel right here. And I know that oftentimes, especially for those that, whether they're desiring to be an entrepreneur or not, even just desiring to switch companies or positions or things like that sometimes it can be a real struggle to leave the comfortable or to leave perceived great thing that everybody's like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. Why would you ever want to leave such a space, right? But like you said, it wasn't a good fit. So how did you build up the courage? Because I'm sure it was fearful to leave that space, but how did you build up the courage to walk away from what didn't fit for you, although from the outside looking in, it appeared to be like the perfect thing, perfect in quotes, right? How did you build that courage?
Oh, yes. Another wonderful question. Because I left a decade-long career in the government to become an entrepreneur with a 1 and 2 year old at home. And my husband, who was working at the time a construction job. So it's not like we were financially okay. Like, it's not like I had all sorts of resources. Like, there needed to be a plan to, keep food on our table and to make sure that. So the other thing I want to say is that I am a naturally very risk adverse person. So risk, I'm naturally very risk adverse. So the decision to leave the safety of that at that time in my life when my babies were 1 and 2 it felt terrifying. It felt huge. And it took me 10 years to even admit to myself, like I'm doing this. And it actually wasn't until, I went back to work after my second child was born, my daughter was born, where I just, the fire inside of me, the fire inside to do what I truly wanted to do was strong enough to say, like, if my babies are now going to be at home, with the nanny that like 85% of my paycheck is going to anyway, like and I'm sitting in this meeting room where I'm just like, I'm not engaged. I'm not here. I can't do this anymore. And it was like this line in the sand moment where I said, like, the fear of the unknown, or the yearning for my vision of what I wanted for my life became greater than the fear of the unknown. And what supported me, and it wasn't like I quit that day. That's not how it worked, because again, I needed to build my business up to a point where I could match my corporate income and leave safely. And so it was a long journey. It was like months of planning and building a business. But what supported me was the clarity of my vision. And I know a lot of your listeners are very goal oriented and like action oriented humans. And I think, and to this day, I still have a vision statement. And I journal about my vision statement every single day. And I have for, 6 or 7 years now, maybe even longer. It's probably been longer than that. Maybe it's been a decade. I'm not even sure. Time blends into each other. But that vision of what I want for my life and what I And at that time it was, I am an entrepreneur. I am a full-time coach with a thriving coaching business. I get my kids on and off the bus every day. It was just like so rich in imagery and feeling, and I would feel it every day, and I would journal about it every day. And then I would just, in my daily life, I would just like, what's 1 or 2 or 3 next best steps I could take that orients me towards that vision. And I can't figure out all the hows, because the hows are not our business. Like when our visions are big, the hows can get in the way of like, how the heck is that going to happen? Mm-hmm. Focusing on 1 to 3 next best steps that are right in front of you, that get you a little bit closer every day towards that vision. And that's what I did every single day, step by step by step, until one day it happened. And I was like, I was my first day out of my corporate job and in my home office, where I got my kids on the bus and I had my clients coming into my home, and I was like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. It's here. But like holding that, I always say bold dreams held loosely. And what that means to me is have a vision, but hold it loosely, and not like be so firm on the vision, but step by step by step, hold it loosely as you walk towards it.
Are you loving the First Class Life Show? Then join our private Patreon community. Not only will you help to support our ability to provide you with great content, but you can also get exclusive perks like bonus videos and resources, discounts, episode transcripts, and more. So what are you waiting for? Join today at patreon.com/firstclasslife. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/firstclasslife.
Yeah.
I love that, because sometimes we can get so inflexible and so strict.
We can. On the house. Yes.
This is what I want. This is how it has to look. And then when life's and it doesn't show up like that, then our whole world crumbles. And so having a hold on the vision, but holding it loosely, because it might not show up the way that you think it's going to show up.
And when we grip something, we lose the co-creative magic of life. Mm-hmm. You know, when we're figuring out all the hows and we're like, it has to be this job or this time frame or this house or this relationship or this thing. It's like you constrict. That's when I know I'm on the detour route, when I'm constricting it. The vision starting to feel hard and constricting. But when we hold this vision and we actually open ourselves up to the possibilities of the hows. How could this happen? I don't know how it's going to happen. All I can see on this path is 1 to 3 steps ahead of me. And if I'm taking those 1 to 3 steps, I'm going to trust that the path is going to keep unfolding and life will reveal itself to me.
Yeah, that is great, because, there's a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that says, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. And that is so true. And, so I do believe in God, and, there's also that action of like, all right, sometimes we can get, for those that have the same belief, we can be like, God, like, what do you want me to do? Just give me the plan. Yeah. And it's like, well, first you got to do one thing. You got to take the first step, and then the next step will be revealed to you as you go. Yeah. But if you don't even take action initially, then how can you expect life to unfold? How can you expect me to reveal the next thing when you haven't done the first thing? And sometimes we get caught up in that as well. So, girl, I love it. I think that this would be a great time to just pause the conversation and play a little game.
Okay. That's
fun. Are you up for a game?
Yeah.
Let me pull up my phone here. So this game is called First Class Favorites. Okay. And it's very easy. All you have to do is fill in the blank. I'm going to say, what is your favorite? Insert the blank here. And
okay.
Sound good?
Okay. Okay.
Here's the twist. You got to answer in 10 seconds or less.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if you miss the buzzer, then you have to think of a consequence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But don't feel bad that you're thinking of a consequence for everyone. Myself, yourself, all the first class family that's tuned in right now. Because it's a matter of perspective, right?
Right.
What may be a positive consequence to you is a negative consequence to me, or vice versa. So what will be the consequence if you miss the buzzer? And it can be whatever. It can be you have to compliment a stranger, or you have to give a compliment to somebody you don't like, or you have to do 10 push-ups, or you got to take a shot of tequila, or like literally whatever you want it to be.
Okay. And the listeners have to reflect on the same thing. Is that or have the same consequence, or is it just my consequence?
Yeah. No, it's for all of us.
For all of us. Okay. So I'm going to build on our conversation. The consequence is going to be, if I don't get this in 10 seconds, my consequence is I'm going to spend 20 minutes journaling after this session to reflect on what held me back from really answering that question.
Okay.
So that's my consequence. So if I don't get this, then the listeners spend 20 minutes journaling on maybe a question that comes up for them, but just a deeper self-reflection. What held me back from just saying what was on my heart in the first moment? Because it's probably going to be just something that I don't know, is that silly? Is that dumb? Am I saying the wrong thing? That's probably what my mind is going to do if I don't answer it on time.
What held you back? Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Yes. And so for the journal lovers out there, that's music to your ears. For those that hate writing, push through. You can do it. All right. So we'll start with something easy. What is your favorite food specifically? Go.
Tortellini.
Oh, see, look.
With benchmade sauce. There we go.
You said what tortellini with what sauce?
Tortellini with rosé benchmade sauce.
You got that in 1 second.
Yeah, there we go. Food. Yeah. I know food.
Okay, next one. I don't know if y'all have an answer because not everybody watches. What's your favorite cartoon? Go.
Oh, damn it! Oh. My head there is all the kids' cartoons that I listen to, and they drive me crazy. When they have it on loud, I'm like, can you turn that ruckus off? And so I was trying to filter through my childhood, and nothing was coming immediately. So I got to reflect on that one.
Okay, got it. I thought that might have been a time because as I started to say it, I was like, oh, well, not everyone watches cartoons, but potentially we was going to try it. So next one, what is your favorite book? Make sure you state the title and author. Go.
Okay, my favorite book is A Hidden Wholeness by Parker J. Palmer. Yes.
Oh, okay. What is that book about?
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful book. And it actually, probably anyone who's resonating with this conversation today, go read A Hidden Wholeness by Parker J. Palmer. He talks about that hidden voice inside and how to orient yourself towards that voice.
Nice. So we did favorite food. What's your favorite drink? Can't say water. Go.
Okay, red wine, Cabernet Sauvignon. Delicious. From California.
Is that a dry wine?
It's a rich, bodyful. I wouldn't call it dry. It's very flavorful. So it's a rich red from California. It's it's just yummy. It's just delicious.
Yeah. Okay. I like sweet wine. The sweeter, the better.
Okay.
What is your favorite place to travel specifically? Go.
Ooh. My favorite place in the whole wide world is Maui. And we're actually going there in 9 days.
Oh!
It's my favorite place. We went there a couple of years ago, and then my husband and I said on our 10-year anniversary, we're taking the kids here. And so we made that goal 3 years ago, and it's happening in a couple of days.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Enjoy. What is your favorite activity to do to relax? Self-care.
Go. Journaling. I know it's a boring answer, but it's journaling. It's like I literally have my journal right here. Like I just have it everywhere. I even have my branding on my journal. I have it everywhere.
Oh, I love that. Listen, we're gonna have to talk about manufacturing and stuff for that journal afterwards. Okay. Now, this one you may or may not have an answer, but we're gonna try it because it'll be really fun if you do. What is your favorite joke?
Oh, you know what? Just having this conversation the other day with my husband. I'm not funny. I'm not funny. I'm not funny. I don't have jokes. I'm not funny. I don't even watch comedies. I'm not a funny human. And my husband's hilarious. And I love laughing at him, but I am not funny. What's a joke? I'm sorry. I failed on that one.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So you enjoy humor, but
I'm not funny.
Aren't the humor content creator.
No. Not even close. But I love laughing at live, like people live. I love my husband's humor. I love stand-up comedy, but I don't like comedies on shows, but I love it in person. I don't know why. Yeah.
Well, I got a corny joke for you.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Kids. What happened to the frog that was parked illegally?
I don't know.
He was towed.
My kids are going to love that one.
Yes, that's like one of my go-to jokes. Yeah. And then I have an adult joke that's in my repertoire. So I have like the safe joke, and then I have like, this is rated R. We save it for certain audiences joke. Like those are my two go-tos.
I need to collect my two go-tos in case someone ever asks me this question.
Okay. That was fun. What is your favorite song, artist, and title? Go.
I'm really into We Deserve, this song. I keep playing it on repeat right now. It's called We Deserve to Dream by Xavier Rudd.
Okay. We Deserve to Dream by Xavier
Rudd. R-U-D-D, I believe. Yeah.
Rudd. R-U-D-D, not red. I definitely did R-E.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for playing First Class Favorites. I love it. And listen, for everyone, First Class family, you may or may not be aware, but make sure you join our private Patreon community because Oprah has her list of favorite things and so do we, because why not? This is our First Class Favorite Things list where you can find our reading list, our song playlist, our favorite places to travel because we're all about being cultured, and because we prioritize self-care, our favorite list of relaxing activities, uniquely curated by all of our phenomenal guests. But to get access to that First Class Favorite Things list, you got to be a member of our private Patreon community. So click the link and make sure you sign up for access to the list and a lot of other bonus resources like bonus videos, transcripts, and so much more. So with that said, thanks for playing First Class Favorite Things, Taryn.
My pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Now let's get back into this conversation. So, First Class family, you may or may not be aware that First Class Life is actually an acronym that stands for all of the key characteristics and skills that you want to embody into your lifestyle to be able to create a first class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And if you want to know what that acronym stands for, then you can do one of two things. First, you can either go back and listen to the very first episode of the First Class Life show where I break down each of them, or you can head to firstclasslifeshop.com and purchase the book, First Class Life, 10 Key Factors to Create a Life Full of Purpose, Fulfillment, and Happiness, okay? Meanwhile, we're going to ask the lovely, lovely Taryn Watts, which key factor do you feel that you resonate with the most?
So I resonate with all, but the one that made me go, ooh, in my heart was number one, which is faithful.
And why'd you pick that one?
I think that for me, faith in something larger than myself, faith in the unfoldment, faith in God, life, whatever you want to call it, just faith in myself, faith in that voice inside, faith in like it's everything. It's everything.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And that's why it's the first, like all by design. It is number one in first class life, being faithful, not only in your belief that there is something bigger than you, despite what your spiritual beliefs may be, but also faithful in who you are as a person. Yeah. That means you're the same on Monday as you are on Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday. And I don't mean that in a we don't evolve type of way, but I mean that in like people can know what to expect from you. Yeah. So like you're reliable in a sense, and not in a way that you are, a people pleaser or you're being a pushover or things like that and easily stepped on. But no, you do the things that you say you're going to do. You show up consistently in your skills, your talents, all of the things, whether that has to be a 2 or a 10, because we can't operate at a 10 day in and day out. But either way, whether you are walking at a 2 or a 10, you are still being who you are truly. Confidently, and flaws and all, you're showing up as you instead of trying to pretend to be this other thing.
Yeah.
So I love it. Faithful. Yes. And shockingly, I thought my guess for you was going to be reflective. I know
it was between those two. It was, but what made me say faithful was, yes, I'm deeply reflective, but I reflect to connect. And so it's like I'm being reflective to connect. And that's what faithful means to me, is like just deeply connecting to myself so that I can present that self to the world.
Sweet. I love it. So with your faithfulness and all of your reflecting on your journey of finding out who you are, please share with us, like, how do you impact the world today as a leader?
So, I am the CEO and the founder of the Mind Rebel Academy, which is an ICF accredited coach training organization. And so now I train coaches to go out and do this beautiful work in the world. And so it's all virtual. We have students from all over the world, all walks of life. And it's a program that is first and foremost so deeply oriented towards the students' growth and themselves doing the work, because I'm a firm believer that we can only go as deep with another as we're willing to go within ourselves. And so it's a beautifully transformative process for the coach, for the student. And then they're learning these world-class coaching skills so that they can hold space for those they love and serve.
Ah, nice. And so the Mind Rebel, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, great question. So the Mind Rebel so in the Mind Rebel Academy, you learn this methodology, and it's called the Mind Rebel method. And essentially I believe that we all have this little Mind Rebel inside. And this Mind Rebel is the version of us that is disconnected actually from our most authentic selves. And so we learn about these various false selves that I was talking about earlier, and we really unpack those and personify those and understand those so that we can become more aware of when they're operating in our lives, and then have tools to be able to come back into alignment and to really ask ourselves, who am I at the core of my being? And then where do I go? What are my next best steps forward from here?
Being faithful to yourself.
That's it.
Full circle.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, so I know you have something to share with us. Please tell us.
Yeah, so I have, it's called 5 Days of Coach Skills Training, and it's 5 daily bite-sized videos of trainings to more. So for people, either if you're a leader or a coach or someone who just wants to use this with those they love and serve, like their family or their children, it's 5 lessons that build off one another, and they're very bite-sized to help you more deeply impact those you love and serve. So you can sign up for that and get it delivered right into your inbox.
Nice. And what is the link for that?
It is, that's a great question. I actually don't know the link off by heart, but I will send it to you, Lindsay. So maybe you could put it in the show notes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure you guys are actually looking at the show notes, the description, and all of the links will be right there. And speaking of, how can everyone reach you on these internet streets so that you want to get more of Taryn?
Yeah, so you can, we have the Mind Rebel Academy at the Mind Rebel Academy with underscores in between. Maybe we'll put that in the show notes as well. So you can find us. But we've got the Mind Rebel Academy Instagram and Facebook page. So that would probably be the best places to find us. And if you're interested in learning more about our programs, you can visit our website at www.themindrebel.com. And all of our courses and our coach training series is listed there. And we'd love to chat with you if you're interested in learning more.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for sharing, and thanks for being an awesome guest. And I have one last question for you. What is some final pieces of advice that you can share with us to help us create a first-class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness?
Create a vision statement. Create a vision. Ask yourself, there's this quote, I believe it's Mary Wild, but she asks, what do you want to do with this one precious life? What do you want to do with this one precious life? What do you yearn for? What do you want to create for yourself? Create that vision. That's the North Star. I believe that when we go to those deep, deep places of yearning, beyond like surface level wants, but to the deepest place in your soul that yearns for deeper love, more connection, more self-expression, more impact, whatever it might be, let that fuel a vision statement and create it as if it's happening today. And get clarity on what it is that you want. That's the North Star. And then every day, just take 1 to 3 next best steps, just like orienting you closer and closer to that vision.
I love it. Mic drop right there. Thank you, Taryn. Thank you so much for showing up and sharing with us today. And thank you, First Class family, for tuning in yet again, because we are so grateful. You could be doing anything in the world with this past hour, but you have spent it here with us, and we are forever appreciative of that. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, love, do all of the things, and share your insights, gems, and ahas on social media. Don't forget to tag us so that we can join in the conversation with you. And sharing is caring, okay? So until next time, continue to go out there and maximize your impact as a leader and create your first-class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, because why? You deserve it. Bye.
Bye.
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But please be sure to subscribe to the First Class Life Show. And don't forget to rate, leave a review, and join our private community so that we can continue to provide you with great personal development conversations to help you maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. You deserve it.